The second voyage of Sinbad the sailor. Have you ever traveled on a ship? Did you face any difficulty during the course? Share your views in the comment section. Sinbad the sailor is a fictional sailor who lives in Baghdad. During his voyages across the seas, east of Africa and south of Asia, he experiences fantastic adventures in magical places, meets monsters and encounters supernatural phenomena. Now, read about this second voyage. I had resolved, as you know, on my return from my first voyage, to spend the rest of my days quietly in Baghdad. But very soon I grew tired of such an idle life and longed once more to find myself upon the sea. We went from island to island, often making excellent bargains, until one day we landed at a spot which, though covered with fruit trees and abounding in springs of excellent water, appeared to possess neither houses nor people. While my companions wandered here and there, gathering flowers and fruit, I sat down in a shady place and fell asleep. How long I slept, I know not, but when I opened my eyes and started to my feet, I perceived with horror that I was alone and that the sheep was gone. Descending from the tree, I hastily collected what remained of my provisions and set off as fast as I could go towards something that seemed to me to be a white ball of immense size and height. And when I could touch it, I found it marvelously smooth and soft. Then I remembered that I had often heard the sailors speak of a wonderful bird called a roc, and it occurred to me that the white object which had so puzzled me must be its egg. Sure enough, the bird settled slowly down upon it, covering it with its wings to keep it warm, and I cowered close beside the egg in such a position that one of the bird's feet, which was as large as the trunk of a tree, was just in front of me. Taking off my turban, I bound myself securely to it with the linen in the hope that the roc, when it took flight next morning, would bear me away with it from the desolate island. And this was precisely what did happen. As soon as dawn appeared, the bird rose into the air, carrying me up and up till I could no longer see the earth, and then suddenly it descended so swiftly that I almost lost consciousness. When I became aware that the roc had settled and that I was once again upon solid ground, I hastily unbound my turban. As I wandered about seeking anxiously for some means of escaping from this trap, I observed that the ground was strewed with diamonds, some of them of an astonishing size. This sight gave me great pleasure, but my delight was speedily damped when I saw also numbers of horrible snakes, so long and so large that the smallest of them could have swallowed an elephant with ease. Fortunately for me, they seemed to hide in caverns of the rocks by day and only came out by night, probably because of their enemy, the roc. At last, overcome with weariness, I sat down upon a rock, but I had hardly closed my eyes when I was startled by something which fell to the ground with a thud close beside me. It was a huge piece of fresh meat, and as I stared at it, several more pieces rolled over the cliffs in different places. I had always thought that the stories the sailors told of the famous Valley of Diamonds and of the cunning way which some merchants had devised for getting the precious stones were mere travelers' tales invented to give pleasure to the hearers. However, now I perceive that they were surely true. The merchants then grew great lumps of meat into the valley. These, falling with so much force upon the diamonds, were sure to take up some of the precious stones with them. when the eagles pounced upon the meat and carried it off to their nests to feed their hungry broods. Then the merchants, scaring away the parent birds with shouts and outcries, would secure their treasures. I took courage and began to devise a means of escape. I began by picking up the largest diamonds I could find and storing them carefully in the leathern wallet which had held my provisions. This I tied securely to my belt. I then chose the piece of meat which seemed most suited to my purpose, and with the aid of my turban bound it firmly to my back. I soon heard the flapping of their mighty wings above me, and had the satisfaction of feeling one of them seize upon my piece of meat and me with it, and rise slowly towards his nest, into which he presently dropped me. Luckily for me, the merchants were on the watch, and setting up their usual white outcries, they rushed to the nest, scaring away the eagle. Their amazement and disappointment was great when they discovered me. I said, "I'm sure if you knew all that I have suffered, you would show more kindness towards me, and as humans, I have enough here of the very best for you and me and all your company." So saying, I showed them the diamonds. The others all crowded round me, wondering at my adventures and admiring the device by which I had escaped from the valley. The end. Please don't forget to subscribe my channel. Bye.